Before we start this episode, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Thank you.
Hi everybody, it's me, Rocky Hollows from the Hollows at Noon podcast. We have one question for you guys. Have you heard of Anchor? If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the newest and easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need and nothing you don't, all in one place. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer or any smart device. That has a screen and, a mouse and editing software of some sort. When hosting your podcast on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, iHeart, and more, just like we do. And it's super easy to earn money on Anchor. All you need to do is obtain 50 unique listeners in order to apply for advertisements, just like this one. It's everything you need and nothing you don't to make a podcast all in one place, and it's totally free to use. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm today to get started. Anchor, a subsidiary of Spotify.
Welcome to another episode of the Hollows at Noon. I'm your host, Liam Noonan.
And I'm returning from hiatus. I am the co-host, Rocky Hollows, the ultimate baddie.
And today we want to talk about politics.
Here we go. Boy, do we have a whole episode for you today.
In our hiatus, a lot of stuff's happened. The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, which is total bull.
There you go. Finally getting use out of the button.
Yeah.
But we do have good news regarding that situation, and that is that they have to return it to the power of the state, which means that select states will still have abortions. Here in New York, Planned Parenthood is still full swing because you know how it be in those mid-country Alabama type situations. If you're getting in Alabama by your big brother or whatever, and you have a pregnancy at age 11, well, in Alabama, or actually not Alabama, maybe Texas, I'd say. In Texas, you're but here in New York, you're absolutely welcome. You're fine. They need one in that. They need to have stuff like that in Alabama. No offense if you're listening from Alabama, but you know the stereotypes. You're gonna with your sister in the back of a pickup truck. I'm sorry.
It's crazy that, these white people, I should say
white supremacists,
they get to decide whether or not a woman should have rights.
I'm going to stop right here because, not the recording, but I'm just going to stop you right there because, first of all, since when is it okay for a man to tell a woman that he has the right to her own rights up to her own body? That's absolutely bullshit. What in the world kind of dumpster fire is this country in right now? And that's only the first wrong thing that came out of 2022. There's more. There's more to this show. Okay. That's just the first part. But yeah, if you're in at least half of our states, most likely, I'm probably wrong about this, but maybe a kind of close.
16 states.
16 out of the 50 states still have the rights, right? Or is it the other way?
16 states are introducing bans to abortions. I think 4% are considering it. The rest are all protected.
Okay, so out of 50, only 16 banned abortions permanently. And please, for the love of God, carry pepper spray on you because you're definitely going to need it.
Yeah.
In Texas. But yeah.
At the moment I found out, I was driving home from work. I told my mom, and she was like, holy.
Yeah, and on an unrelated note, a few days later, I was actually marching in the New York City World Pride Parade for 2022, and you could actually see me on WABC 7. I was marching with iHeartRadio, and our float had international pop sensation Netta on it. Lining the streets, there were so many like pro Roe v. Wade like protesters saying basically saying like, since when do you have the right to my body? I'm a woman, and I'm just like, I'm high fiving. I was the one high fiving all of them, because I'm just like, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
You should have learned this in kindergarten. Like, you don't know what the other person's been through.
Literally, like, how are you gonna tell some knocked up 10-year-olds that she cannot get rid of a baby she will never be able to? She'll probably die while trying to, like, having to push it out. Like,
yeah, and
what in the world kind of logic is that?
There's some people who want to have babies but can't, or
Fertilization problems.
People who want to have babies but die during childbirth, or the pregnancy has gone wrong and it's now an ectopic pregnancy, and it threatens the effing life out of the woman.
It's disgraceful, honestly. It's the most one of the most disgraceful things that they've ever did. And guess what was next in the shopping block?
Gay marriage.
Yeah, and I know Liam is straight, so that's okay. But that would have impacted me and my boyfriend, Jesse, who just totally rocked a recital at Carnegie Hall. So congratulations to Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, Clarence Thomas didn't get very far, because before the Republicans took office in the seats or whatever, they actually passed the Respect for Marriage Act, which now protects us federally, right? Am I right about this?
Yeah.
Which is good, because this is 2023 now. You homophobes. Whatever happened to separation? Here's a good point. Whatever happened to separation of church from states? Why is it suddenly like, who's bribing the U.S. government to be like, oh my god, the sanctity of marriage, oh my god, protect the babies? But I'm sorry, do you want your 10-year, I'm sorry, Christian conservative parents, do you want your 10-year-olds to be victims of rape and like not be able to like push out like kids? Like, that is way too far. Like,
or
no, it's messed up.
Or if you force the person to give birth, and then like years later that child dies because some guy just wanted to mow them down, wanted to mow a couple teachers down because of the gay agenda.
Ugh.
Quote unquote.
I'm sorry, but seriously, separation of church and state as well as school. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry about how I feel. Like, no one's sexualizing kids. Can we talk about the drag queen situation? What is wrong with people? You have people dying of gun violence, of mass shootings, but the
natural disasters,
and yet here the problem is drag queens. What the kind of messed up logic is that? Seriously, like, what is our government on? What drugs are they on?
You know, they're just people wanting to read to your kids.
Yeah, literally, there's no sexualization. There is absolutely no lingerie involved. They're in pretty princess dresses with nice, fabulous wigs, similar to Hannah Montana. And this is a problem. How? They're just reading storybooks to your kids. Like, I swear, they think that drag story time for children is unsafe. The only unsafe thing in this situation are the most toxic Christianity, and all its people who support toxic Christianity showing up with guns and trying to shoot your kids. Like, that's the only unsafe thing is you and your stupid toxic Christian heathens showing up with guns, ready to I didn't say it. I stopped myself. We're good. to shoot down the mother drag queen. Like, that's so dumb. But then again, this is America. I'm not really surprised anymore.
Yeah.
I'm starting to become an anti-American American. Anti-America American. And it's really sad. The second they with my marriage rights with my boyfriends, this place, I'm literally just gonna apply for European citizenship and move to Sweden. I don't care. Like, yeah, land of the free my ass hole. Literally.
So, yeah, that just doesn't make any sense.
You know, oh yeah, should we also mention the recent Donald Trump, whatever, like, serious anti-trans and anti-LGBT thing, where he says he literally wants to exterminate them?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, do you really think that in a world, in 2023, being more politically correct than it was, where you cannot say the N-word, where you cannot, without getting canceled, and when you can't even be discriminated against the anti-LGBT and anti-trans, like, you can't preach that like, you're gonna get canceled, and Trump has already been canceled multiple times. How do you think you're gonna absolutely win this election if you're going off being transphobic, being homophobic? Do you really think you're gonna win this thing? You know, you're not gonna win. And if this country does re-elect this orange face, this is just gonna prove how dumb and deranged America really is. What drug is this country on now?
I mean,
because at this point, I'm pretty sure they're overdosing on cocaine.
I mean, nowadays he's kind of not as popular.
No, he's absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, but there's a new Republican challenger.
Oh no.
You know,
here we go.
You know, how like in Nintendo when they announce like new characters gonna enter the Smash Bros. Universe.
They disappoint everyone by not announcing Waluigi. That's disgraceful. Nobody cares about whoever the last one was. I don't care really. We wanted freaking Waluigi, and we got some motherfucker with a blade. Yeah, we needed that. Sure, that's what we needed. I'd still replace Lucina with Yandere-chan of the Yandere Simulators franchise.
So the new challenger that's joining the battle is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
No, that guy, him, that. After the Don't Say Gay bill and all this crap, like, both of these motherfuckers are never gonna get reelected, and never gonna get elected.
I mean,
no, everybody hates DeSantis.
Yeah, everybody does,
Florida.
but you know, he's gaining popularity in like the Trump circles.
Ay, Dios mío. They're gonna have a field day deciding between which dictator they want to rule this wasteland called America.
Back when the Republicans won the House, the Senate, they were voting to see if Donald Trump could run the Senate, and Ron DeSantis become the Republican nominee.
I swear to God.
So
my blood is boiling thinking about either of them running office. It just makes my blood boil.
It doesn't make sense. Like,
it makes there's no logic behind any of this. It's just ridiculous at this point. This is why you don't want Rocky Hollows on politics, because I'll be the one person to be like, what is wrong with all of you? Like, the only good thing to come out of any part of the Trump era of America was the market was okay and the gas prices weren't astronomical.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was a show. Like, how are you gonna be the number one on, like, Twitter egging on Kim Jong-un? Like, is that really a good idea? The dude with the crazy man with freaking nuclear missile launch codes? Are you deranged? What drugs are you on, sir? You know, besides inhaling spray tanner. Let's be real, he probably doesn't, and that's why he's so motherfucking stupid. Dumb?
So, according to the New York Times, a year ago, Mr. Biden delivered his first State of the Union speech amid the initial Russian assault on Ukraine. That conflict has evolved into a grinding war that remains a pressing foreign policy issue.
It's depressing, if anything.
Yeah. He's also dealing with escalating tension from China, mass migration across Latin and South America, food instability, high energy prices, and global natural disasters fueled in part by climate change.
Speaking of China, what was with that Chinese spy balloon thing? What is the story here? Because I'm reading all about this and I have no idea what the heck this is, and yet here I know about like the other stuff that's more relevant to the elderly. We're like looking this up because I'm like, what is happening, guys?
Yeah.
What's the story here? Literally.
So it was a surveillance balloon. That it was also not the first spy balloon from China that detected passing over the United States.
Really not over New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, to say, America's big. You have to, not as big as like most other countries like Russia, but like you have a lot of ground to cover. There's no way you can do it in just one balloon. It actually kind of makes sense. This is the first one they actually detected. And I've seen the memes. I literally just saw one of Ed and Nettie, like an Ed and Nettie related meme relating to it on TikTok recently. But speaking of which, if you really want to spy on America, China, TikTok, you know? None of us really care. We just want it for the entertainment.
Yeah, like they were labeled as unidentified aerial phenomena, which is basically the UFOs. But just recently they were reclassified as Chinese spy balloons. So yeah, that balloon was shot down.
Can I just say something about this real quick?
Yeah.
While I'm on the subject?
Yeah.
Notice how it went all the way across from Alaska, all the way down to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. If you knew about this, why didn't you do anything before it got complete surveillance over going all the way across this country? Why took you so long? Seriously, like it went all the way across us before somebody even noticed it and shot it down.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, they already got away with it. Basically, they got away scot-free, and before anyone noticed, before anyone shot it down, nobody noticed it. So now, if they have anything, they have everything they need.
Yeah.
So it's already too late. What took you so long, you mother? Stupid morons! Like.
But yeah, the Chinese government confirmed that there was a second surveillance balloon floating over Latin America and the Caribbean, adding it was for civilian purposes.
What? I'm sorry. What do you mean surveillance purposes?
That just doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean by civilian purposes? Wait, what do you mean though?
It doesn't. They don't say.
I'll bet maybe it's I guess maybe they're planning something apocalyptic. Maybe.
Maybe.
God, I hope not. Just mother. Knocking on the wood on my wood dresser. Literally knocking on wood. Like, seriously, just leave us alone.
Yeah.
We just want to live. Prosper and do our own thing.
Yep. Back to the State of the Union. The New York Times article, which I'll link in the description, they said that with employers adding jobs at a robust rate and unemployment falling to its lowest level since 1969, Mr. Biden will also argue that his administration successfully navigated the country out of the economic crash that was caused by the pandemic.
I don't think so. The gas station around the corner from my house is still like over $4 per gallon.
But they've been getting low.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Other than in a town other than the one that's 6 towns over from me, which ironically is the one I go to the most. Really, I live in.
But polls indicate that many voters citing financial hardships and inflation rate that still exceeds historical averages do not agree with them. And economists say that a recession is still possible, especially if Republicans follow through on their threats to reject and increase the debt limit. So, I don't know. We'll have to see what he actually says during his speech later today. So, future me, edit in parts where clips of something important that you think is happening, something important that you think Joe Biden said.
And I want to congratulate the new leader of the House Democrats, the first African-American minority leader in history, Hakeem Jeffries. He won in spite of the fact I campaigned for him. Folks, the story of America is a story of progress and resilience, of always moving forward, of never, ever giving up. It's a story unique among all nations. We're the only country that has emerged from every crisis we've ever entered stronger than we got into it. Look, folks, that's what we're doing again. 2 years ago, the economy was reeling. I stand here tonight after we've created, with the help of many people in this room, 12 million new jobs. More jobs created in 2 years than any president's created in 4 years, because of you all, because of the American people. 2 years ago, COVID had shut down, our businesses were closed, our schools were robbed of so much, and today, COVID no longer controls our lives. And 2 years ago, democracy faced its greatest threats in the Civil War, and today, though bruised, our democracy remains unbowed and unbroken. We came together to pass the most significant law ever, helping victims exposed to toxic burn pits. And in fact, it was important. And in fact, I signed over 300 bipartisan pieces of legislation since becoming president, from reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act, the Electoral Count Reform Act, the Respect for Marriage Act that protects the right to marry the person you love. And to my Republican friends, if we could work together the last Congress, there's no reason we can't work together and find consensus on important things in this Congress as well. Too many good-paying manufacturing jobs move overseas. Factories closed down. Once thriving cities and towns that many of you represent became shadows of what they used to be. And along the way, something else we lost: pride, our sense of self-worth. I ran for president to fundamentally change things, to make sure our economy works for everyone, so we can all feel that pride in what we do. To build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up, and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. I know a lot of you always kid me for always quoting my dad, but my dad used to say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. He really would say this. It's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. Well, folks, so let's look at the results. We're not finished yet by any stretch of the imagination, but unemployment rate is at 3.4%, a 50-year low. A near record and near record unemployment. Near record unemployment for black and Hispanic workers. We've already created, your help, 800,000 good-paying manufacturing jobs, the fastest growth in 40 years. And where is it written? Where is it written that America can't lead the world in manufacturing? And I don't know where that's written. For too many decades, we imported projects and exported jobs. Now, thanks to what you've all done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Folks, inflation has been a global problem because the pandemic disrupted our supply chains, and Putin's unfair and brutal war in Ukraine disrupted energy supplies as well as food supplies, blocking all that grain in Ukraine. But we're better positioned than any country on earth right now. But we have more to do. But here at home, inflation is coming down. Here at home, gas prices are down $1.50 from their peak. Food inflation is coming down, not fast enough, but coming down. Inflation has fallen every month for the last 6 months, while take-home pay has gone up. Additionally, over the last 2 years, a record 10 million Americans applied to start new businesses. 10 million. Insulin's been around for over 100 years. The guy who invented it didn't even patent it because he wanted it to be available for everyone. It cost the drug companies roughly $10 a vial to make that insulin. Packaging and all, you may get up to $13. But Big Pharma has been unfairly charging people hundreds of dollars, $400 to $500 a month, making record profits. Not anymore. We capped the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors on Medicare. The people are just finding out. I'm sure you're getting the same calls I'm getting. Look, there are millions of other Americans who do not or are not on Medicare, including 200,000 young people with type 1 diabetes who need this insulin to stay alive. Let's finish the job this time. Let's cap the cost of insulin for everybody at $35. Social Security and Medicare are a lifeline for millions of seniors. Americans have to pay into them from the very first paycheck they started. So tonight, let's all agree, and we currently are, let's stand up for seniors. Restoring the dignity of work means making education an affordable ticket to the middle class. You know, when we made public education, 12 years of it, universal in the last century, we made the best educated, best paid, we became the best educated, best paid nation in the world. But the rest of the world's caught up. It's caught up. Jill, my wife, who teaches full time, has an expression. I hope I get it right, kid. Any nation that out-educates us is going to out-compete us. Any nation that out-educates is going to out-compete us. Folks, we all know 12 years of education is not enough to win the economic competition of the 21st century. We want to have the best educated workforce. Let's finish the job by providing access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. Studies show that children who go to preschool are nearly 50% more likely to finish high school and go on to earn a 2 or 4 year degree, no matter their background they came from. Let's give public school teachers a raise. We're making progress by reducing student debt, increasing Pell Grants for working and middle-class families. Let's finish the job and connect students to career opportunities starting in high school. Provide access to 2 years of community college, the best career training in America in addition to being a pathway to a 4-year degree. Let's offer every American a path to a good career, whether they go to college or not. And folks, in the midst of the COVID crisis, when schools were closed and we were shutting down everything, let's recognize how far we came in the fight against the pandemic itself. While the virus is not gone, thanks to the resilience of the American people and the ingenuity of medicine, we've broken the COVID grip on us. COVID deaths are down by 90%. We've saved millions of lives and opened up our country. We opened our country back up, and soon we'll end the public health emergency. But that's called a public health emergency. But we'll remember the toll and pain that's never going to go away. More than 1 million Americans lost their lives to COVID. 1 million. Families grieving, children orphaned, empty chairs at the dining room table constantly reminding you that she used to sit there. Remembering them, we remain vigilant. We still need to monitor dozens of variants and support new vaccines and treatments. So Congress needs to fund these efforts and keep America safe. And as we emerge from this crisis stronger, we're also got to double down on prosecuting criminals who stole relief money meant to keep workers and small businesses afloat. As many of you personally know, there's no words to describe the heartache or grief of losing a child. But imagine if you lost that child at the hands of the law. Imagine having to worry whether your son or daughter came home from walking down the street, or playing in the park, or just driving a car. Most of us in here have never had to have the talk that brown and black parents have had to have with their children. Bo, Hunter, Ashley, my children, I never had to have the talk with them. I never had to tell them if a police officer pulls you over, turn your interior lights on right away. Don't reach for your license. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Imagine having to worry like that every single time your kid got in a car. Here's what Tyree's mother shared with me when I spoke to her. When I asked her how she finds the courage to carry on and speak out. With the faith of God, she said her son was, quote, a beautiful soul, and something good will come of this. Imagine how much courage and character that takes. It's up to us, to all of us. We all want the same thing. Neighborhoods free of violence. Law enforcement who earns the community's trust. Just as every cop, when they pin on that badge in the morning, has a right to be able to go home at night, so does everybody else out there. Our children have a right to come home safely. Second, let's do more in mental health, especially for our children. When millions of young people are struggling with bullying, violence, trauma, we owe them greater access to mental health care at their schools. We must finally hold social media companies accountable for experimenting or running children for profit. It's time to pass bipartisan legislation to stop big tech from collecting personal data on our kids and teenagers online. Ban targeted advertising to children and impose stricter limits on the personal data that companies collect on all of us. We must all speak out. There's no place for political violence in America. We have to protect the right to vote, not suppress the fundamental right. Honor the results of our elections, not subvert the will of the people. We have to uphold the rule of law and restore trust in our institutions of democracy. And we must give hate and extremism in any form no safe harbor. We have to see each other not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. We're good people. The only nation in the world built on an idea, the only one. But we're the only nation based on an idea that all of us, every one of us, is created equal in the image of God. A nation that stands as a beacon to the world. A nation in a new age of possibilities. So I've come to fulfill my constitutional obligation to report in the State of the Union. And here's my report. Because the soul of this nation is strong, because the backbone of this nation is strong, because the people of this nation are strong, the State of the Union is strong. I'm not new to this place. I stand here tonight having served as long as about any one of you have ever served here. But I've never been more optimistic about our future, about the future of America. just to remember who we are. We're the United States of America, and there's nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
Since we touched on this, well, definitely touched on this earlier in the show, but polls show that most Americans disagree with the court's decision to end the federal right to abortion, and that more people now identify abortion or women's rights as issues they want the government to prioritize. The Biden administration had issued executive orders to attempted to protect abortion access, but without the support of Congress, the president has little recourse to stop Republican-controlled states from putting the bans into effect. Wait. Hold up. I think the president has the right to veto. I don't know. He has the right to the effing executive order. So why doesn't he use that to protect abortion?
No idea.
Abortion rights groups also won all 6 ballot measures on abortion across the country last year. And the issue helped Democrats fend off the red wave in the midterm elections that Republicans expected. So that's great. In Pennsylvania, for example, where Democrats took control of the state legislature, voters said that abortion rights ranked first among their concerns, above the economy. This is important, that we should protect women's rights, that they even rank above the economy. 12 states have banned abortion, so we were off by about 4. With only limited exceptions, and Georgia banned it after 6 weeks of pregnancy, when many women do not know that they are pregnant. That's 2 menstrual cycles. Well, actually, a menstrual cycle and a half. Doctors say that increased criminalization of abortion has restricted their ability to care for patients with wanted but complicated pregnancies too. So if the woman wants the pregnancy and it turned into an ectopic pregnancy, what are they to do?
This country is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Absolute dumpster fire.
Sorry.
Not really.
Not really, though. Get effed.
Get real. Let's be real for a minute.
Let's hope the baby comes out okay.
Probably won't, though.
Probably.
Nah, I feel like this is going to lead to, unfortunately, it's good. The fact that they were just like, oh, this is the problem. It's going to probably lead to a lot of miscarriages, unfortunately.
Yeah, and a lot of women, they can't really afford to go out of state to get the abortion or to get the procedure done.
Yeah.
Because we don't have like affordable health care.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
So they have to deal with the healthcare companies, the healthcare insurance companies, who would probably make their rates skyrocket. Or many people are only protected via their jobs.
If you have a good job.
If you have a good job.
Or a job in general.
So what's going to happen if that person gets fired because they have to take like a week off to go out of state, get the abortion, and then get the procedure done, and they would have to stay for a couple days so that they recover properly.
Yeah, and how much time are they actually going to give you? For instance, I don't think, in reality, I don't really think that, like, you'd have to have a really, really high up job, so only, like, the higher class would be, like, protected by this, in a way.
Yeah.
You're not retaliated against. You always could have, like, really bad, like, management. You never know.
Especially since, like, the federal minimum wage is still $7 an hour. Many people can't even really afford their rent for the month.
Literally.
And
unless you have like 7 roommates. Other than that, like,
yeah,
good luck. Like, an episode of Friends would probably get you there, but not really. Both of the apartments of Friends would move into one apartment. That'd basically be it.
And New York is expected to become like the most expensive city in 2023.
I'll forget that. I'm gonna move out of this rat hole. No, literally because there's rats roaming the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, forget New York. I'm literally planning to move somewhere else, like Florida or something.
And again, Ron DeSantis is
Not for
governor
long.
of Florida.
Yeah, not for long.
Uh,
Can't they like vote him out of office technically?
I'm not sure, but
Should be able to. Power the people.
it's all due to redistricting and gerrymandering. So if you won like the district that he's in, you're basically set for life.
Yeah. I'm literally thinking to myself though, like, mostly he's going after people who are under the age of 20 or so, and I'm almost gonna be 25. I'm so old, right? I know, guys. I'm so old.
I'm gonna be 23 in a week.
Happy almost birthday.
Yeah.
I like have nothing else to say right now. The government is just annoying. Both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the US is a shite show. A really bad side show run by clowns and not ringmasters where you need them. You just need to put now you just need to put a circus tent over the continent of North America, basically. Well, actually, no, just the U.S. At this point, you should just cover the U.S. with a giant circus tent because that's basically what it is here.
Or, since you want to protect the life of the child, why not create gun restrictions?
Literally, what is wrong with you to the point where you're not doing something about the guns, the mass shootings? Do you know how many high schools, including Sandy Hook, over the last 10 years have been shot up by psychopaths? Seriously, you have people who would have graduated like 5 years prior to that and were like, this place, it literally scarred me for life. Like, and they would want to shoot it up afterwards. Meanwhile, those new kids that are there did nothing to you. Like, seriously, what is wrong with deranged people? I say that because it's just like, what causes you to do this? Like, you should stop worrying about trans people, stop worrying about the LGBT rights and how you want to suppress them, and
or how the teachers are spreading the gay agenda, air quotes,
and just go and restrict gun laws because we're tired of this. Speaking of which, donate to Everytown while we're on the subject. It's a new organization set to actually tell them, make them listen. Donate to Everytown. It's run by the people who run the Impact Instagram site. We respect Everytown on this podcast and all parts of the Rocky Hollows brands.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think we're almost out of time for this segment.
So I'm gonna wait 5 seconds before I say the next part.
See you in the next part.
We will be right back after these quick messages.